ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to Football United Airways. Soon, we're going to be landing in South America. We're going to be talking about the whole of Libertadores. We know that the YouTube channel is a client's preference, so we thank you for flying Football United Airways. So fasten your seatbelt, relax, enjoy your flight, and United we fly. Oh, gotta take that out. Welcome, guys. How are you? Welcome to Football United Airways. We're here with four of my friends. We got for the first time, and I'm excited to have him here, John, my old college friend from Sao Paulo. He's in Miami now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, Miami, Florida. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right, there you go. We got CP from Dubai. How are you, mate?
I'm doing good.
All right, we got Steven from England.
What's up? Fine, enjoying some
What's
hot
up?
weather here. About last about 2 weeks, but there you go. I enjoy it while it lasts.
Dude, Steven went outside for the first time in a decade today. Like it was pretty remarkable.
It's called Britain. It's called cold weather, right? You come out here and try it.
That's fair enough. And we got Tiho from the Netherlands. How are you, mate?
I'm doing decent. Yeah.
All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about, I would probably say, the second most important club competition in the world. It's probably my favorite one. I'm sure it's John's favorite one as well. It's the biggest competition in South America, and it's the Libertadores. If you need that, it's easily compared to the Champions League of South American football. It's where all the best teams tend to be. And this is a very special one. Because we just ended the group stages. We're about to have the draw for the round of 16, and it's I think we have like 12 champions and 14 clubs that have made it to the finals, something like that. It's really it's looking like the Libertadores of Libertadores. That's what they're calling it. First, I'm gonna go to John because he's one of the people I know that follows South American football the most. So I'm not even gonna ask any questions. Just first impressions. The first thing you want to say about the Libertadores. The floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks again for having me. So the first thing I wanted to touch upon before we start going, I don't know, group by group or team by team, the one thing that for me was super evident in this Libertadores, and you can see by the list of teams that qualified to the round of 16, is that 2 years ago, Conmebol decided to readjust the number of berths to the Libertadores, right? The competition expanded to 48 teams, I believe. But, we're in a continent that has 10 countries. Mm-hmm. So what happens then? Brazil got 7 berths. Argentina got 6. Everyone else got 4. And, obviously there's a berth for last year's champion as well as last year's champion of the Sul-Americana, which for those who aren't familiar is basically the Europa League of South America, which are also tournaments that tend to be won by Brazilian and Argentinian teams. So what happens is that automatically over 50% of the tournament is Brazil-Argentina. And that was reflected on the round of 16. If we look out of the 16 teams that qualified, only 4 are not Brazil-Argentina. That would be Barcelona from Ecuador, along with Cerro Porteño and Olimpia from Paraguay, and Católica from Chile. And why does that happen? Obviously, games against either Brazilian teams playing against each other, Argentinians against each other, or a mix of the two, attract more money. Because people outside of South America especially want to watch Boca play against Flamengo. They don't want to watch a team from Ecuador play against a team from Bolivia. Yeah. So this was something that everyone expected to happen. People who pay close attention to these things. Now it's sort of going into the mainstream, and you have major television channels talking about this. Even those who show these games are starting to criticize this. because they're worried that it's just going to become a Brazil-Argentina tournament, and with time, the tendency is also for Brazilian teams to start getting better than the Argentinian teams, because Argentina is in a financial crisis, like the country. So aside from River and Boca, which live in a parallel universe, basically, everyone else is going to suffer. So they're already talking about like how the Final Four this year is most likely going to be 4 Brazilian teams, and that's only going to get worse with time. So I think the big takeaway for me was this. It's tough seeing out of 16 teams, 12 being from just 2 countries. Especially in a tournament that has passion and stuff like that as its main attractive point. So you're excluding a lot of countries that have big teams that have huge fan bases, and you're taking that opportunity away from them to being on the big stage.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes. I mean, it's. I'll get other people's thoughts on this as well if they want to chip in, but it's a little natural as well, right? It's. I'm really looking for a whole of American continent Champions League, because then you add Mexico then Mexico gets quite interesting, right? Like they do have they do have money to compete with Brazil and Argentina.
Yeah, and a reason this expansion happened was because the Mexican teams were taken away from the Libertadores. They participated for about 12 years.
Yeah.
And obviously almost any team from Mexico is going to be better than the 4th place team in Bolivia. So that was a big hit in terms of quality. But it's just, I really think it's just a matter of time, because the MLS and the Mexican League have too much money, and the distances is the main point that people bring up as a con for a tournament like that. But they forget that when a team from Brazil has to play a team from the countryside in Ecuador, they got to take 3 flights and 2 buses to get there. It's really faster to fly to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So one American League tournament.
Yeah, it gets a little more complicated than it is in Europe, because you're talking about 2 organizations, right? Like in Europe, you have the
But
UEFA.
the thing I don't like about it, the idea is like, those very small teams from Haiti, for example. I'll give you a story, okay? In the CONCACAF Champions League. So I don't know if John knows about this. There's this Haitian team which reached the round of 16 somehow, and they didn't have any money. They're very poor. They actually I think the organizers had to pay them for transport, help them to reach there. So I think it's very important for these small teams to get revenue.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
dude, it's
There's
I'm sorry to
pro
say
and
this.
con.
There's very few ways to take care of Haitian teams. It's if you
I
create
mean, it's
a.
not that, because Haiti is a very poor country, and this does bring a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
I actually disagree with that, because I actually don't think the way it is now is helping Haitian soccer. I don't think they're developing the sport. I don't think they're getting a significant amount of money. I think CONCACAF already has a very interesting Caribbean Cup, which should be given more value, I think, than it does. But at the end of the day, there's just no way a Haitian team is going to become a superpower. And a team that deserves attention, deserves support from the Confederation. But I think saying that a Haitian team has to play a group stage of a tournament with Boca Juniors and against Club America.
Yeah, they're going to get destroyed.
Yeah,
and I think we'd be kidding ourselves if we thought that would be, even helpful for them. Yeah, they'd get destroyed. They'd lose 16-0. It'd be a joke. They'd be the laughing stock.
But what's the issue with the current system itself? What's the issue with
the
both
current system in the Libertadores? You mean?
Yeah.
Well, we just explained it. It's the tendency that is that it's always going to be dominated by Brazilian and Argentinian teams. I mean,
Yeah,
it pretty
it's
much always
been.
has with the addition of Uruguay, but you
I
have
mean,
champions from.
it's the addition of that. Or I think the Uruguayan teams have kind of regressed. To be honest, they
They
haven't
have.
been
They have.
as good as they usually have been. It's depressing. And
Yeah.
I think we finished third, Nacional. It's horrible, and the state of it. It's yeah,
Yeah, with if it becomes one big thing for the American continent, it's gonna be more similar to the Champions League because then you're gonna have four giants, right? Like you're gonna have Brazil, Argentina, U.S., and Mexico. Those are gonna be that's where most of the champions are probably gonna be coming from.
I would
And
argue U.S., but
yeah, dude, it's just that it's growing so fast, Johnny. I mean, right now they're far behind us, but it's growing fast.
it's definitely growing. I would. I mean, there's money. There's money. There's
Yeah,
interest, and but I would argue about how fast and. I mean, they still haven't won a CONCACAF Champions League in like 25 years. So,
it's fair enough.
if you can't
That's
even
fair enough.
compete with Tigres, how are you going to compete with,
Okay.
the
Oh, but
South
Tigres is a
American
great
teams?
club. Tigres is a great club,
Yeah,
though.
but for example, Mexican teams have never won the Libertadores,
Yeah. Oh,
and
only 12 seasons to do that, though.
sure,
But
and
anyway,
also
like,
arguably they never actually sent their best teams because the top teams in Mexico always went to the CONCACAF Champions. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
It's
think that's going to change over time. I think it's inevitable because the money's going to speak too
yeah,
loud at a
for
certain
sure.
point. But I just hope that the rest of the continent doesn't get forgotten. I like what UEFA did with the Conference League, and I hope something similar happens in South America.
Okay, Steven's looking that way. I mean, it's a forbidden topic. I don't want to talk
The
about
Conference
English
League?
football right
Ooh, I'm
now.
a huge fan.
Yeah, it's just you're neutral in general. Like you're just a football lover, right? With us, like as Arsenal fans, we're not. I mean, we just want to ignore the existence of the Conference League. Anyway, that's a topic for another time. I
Okay.
do think one in South America it'd be cool. Like it's a chance for smaller teams to. I mean, I think it would be dominated by Brazilian teams as well because Brazilian mid-table clubs tend to be much better than mid-table clubs anywhere else. Maybe not Argentina,
yeah.
but anywhere else, dude. It's like you get a Ceará, he'd kick anyone's ass when you like talk about like Bolivian, Colombian, Ecuadorian, even Chilean mid-table. It's just
Yeah, and you
another.
can see then in this year's Sul-Americana, 4 of the 5 Brazilian teams went through or something like that. So
I think was it Corinthians the only one that didn't go through?
Corinthians didn't. No, wait, I'm actually sorry about that. I was thinking about also the teams that finished third in the Libertadores and actually went down. So that makes it a
Yeah.
total of 4. But
I
but
think
in groups where only one team qualified out of 4, there was
yeah,
still
yeah. Corinthians didn't make it through Penarol.
Peñarol
I think I
qualified in
think
that group.
Bahia didn't go through either.
Bahia didn't go through. There was Independiente.
Yeah, there you go. We're gonna be talking. Should I put the table up, the Libertadores table?
Yeah, if you want, let's go group by group or something, and we can.
By the way, Tijo, Steven, I'm not going to you with questions or anything like that. But if you ever want to ask us anything, if you think you have something to add, please do let us know. I don't want to put you on. don't want to put you in the spot.
No, it's just different to learn like sort of the American sort of version of what we call as the Champions League.
Yeah.
And it's different to sort of learn that sort of thing rather than just sticking with European football all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're going to be looking at like we just got Gabriel Martinelli from Brazil, so it's kind of nice to know the teams that you're getting them from as well, so you can like see if there's any future talent coming from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always. I mean, we're gonna be talking about that later on in your channel, but
Yeah.
it's there's always a lot of Brazilians and a lot of South Americans being linked to bigger clubs in Europe. Right now, Arsenal is one of those clubs that's always being linked because of the Edu connection. John's gonna remember Edu as well. He worked for the Seleção Brasileira. He also played in Corinthians for a long time and Arsenal.
Do you want him back?
But yeah, let's first of all welcome. I mean, is that Mathieu?
Sven.
No, Sven.
That's
Sven.
Sven.
Sorry,
Yeah. Hello.
Sven. How are you, mate?
I'm all right. How are
All
you?
right. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're just now getting to the table of the group stage. The last games were last Thursday. Um, you're gonna see the illustration of what John was talking about. That it's mostly Brazilian and Argentinian teams.
Mhm.
You have Group A here. Palmeiras was definitely one of the better teams from the. If not, were they? I think they were the second best team in the group stage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a huge squad. You can see here, like they averaged over 3 goals a game, like 20 goals in 6 games. That's quite insane. And it's not
I
like it's a
still I didn't
Hmm.
believe I don't know how they lost that one game. I forgot who was it against?
It
Who
was
was
against
it?
Defensa y
Yeah,
Justicia,
defense.
Yeah.
and they were already qualified. They were
Yeah,
not
they
only were
played.
they already qualified, they were
Mhm.
already mathematically in first place, so they had nothing to play for. That's basically
And
what
I think
happened.
they got a red card as well.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah. It's
But
I
that
mean
was at the end of the game, though.
they were favorites, but it's not like it's a weak ass group. You gotta give props to Palmeiras for sure.
I mean, they're the current
Um,
champions, so they're going to come in strong. They
for sure.
they basically didn't lose any players since they won it, just a couple months ago. Really,
Yeah.
the coach is still there. They're extremely strong away from home. They went on like a 4-month streak without any losses away. They actually just lost their last 2 away games, but that was going to come to an end eventually. But
I mean,
um,
didn't they get Danilo on loan from Nice? I'm pretty sure.
yeah, yeah.
How is he doing? I haven't seen any
I don't think he's
comparisons.
played yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a very deep squad.
Oh, no way. No,
They
I'm actually I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, he has played and he's been playing amazing. He's been playing really great. He has like 2 or 3 games, maybe a little more, but he's been doing really well. He's already a starter.
is that a midfielder? Oh no, the
No, the
striker.
center back.
Oh,
Center back.
damn it. Okay, I
Is
did
that a
not get that
defensive?
right.
Is not a defensive mid? Man,
He can play center back. I'm pretty sure. I think he
yeah.
used to play center back for Nice.
And then Palmeiras, I mean, in my opinion, it's the second best team in the country, but it's very competitive with Flamengo too. It's not like it's a landslide. Do you have any highlights from the other 3 clubs in that group, John?
Yeah, so Defensa y
Well,
Justicia is a neighborhood team in Argentina that just started getting. It's been used by a very powerful Argentinian agent to showcase the players he manages. So that's
okay.
how this nothing of a team all of a sudden came to the South American spotlight. They won last
Yeah.
year's Copa Sudamericana,
Yeah.
and that's how they qualified to the Libertadores. Crespo, that won that tournament, went to Sao Paulo, and Defensa y Justicia brought back Becasese, which was the first coach in this winning era of the club, and now he's back and he's doing a great job. Actually, SofaScore at the end of the group stage did their like top 11 of the first round, and Walter Bo and Fernandez were 2 players of Defensa y Justicia that made it to that top 11. Walter
Oh
Bo, which
wow.
is the younger brother of Gustavo Bo that plays for the New England Revolution. I'm not sure if you guys know who that is, but
Yeah.
so it's an interesting team with a coach that has a winning history with that club and just returned, and they had a very solid run. I thought Independiente del Valle, that finished 3rd, was going to be able to go through with Palmeiras. Actually, another super interesting case of a neighborhood team from Quito, Ecuador, that who got some investment behind them, built a new stadium. They've been participating in the Libertadores very consistently. They've been taking advantage of a little crisis that the big teams in Ecuador have been going through, and kind of wiggled their way in there into the top positions
Yeah.
of their
They
league.
won the Sul-Americana not too long ago, didn't they?
Yeah, they went to the Libertadores final in 2016 and lost against Atletico Nacional. And then 2 years ago, they went to the Sudamericana final and lost against Colón. I mean, they won against Colón from Argentina.
There you go. There you go.
So yeah, so it's a team that's been up there consistently, and I thought they were gonna make it through this group, but like I mentioned earlier, Brazil Argentina, that's the tendency.
Yeah. And in South America, it works similar. I mean, exactly the same way as it does in
Yeah,
Europe, but
third.
with the one difference that teams from the same group can be drawn to play against each other.
Yeah.
So even though he just said that about Defensa and Justicia, I would probably argue that it's one of those second places that they're looking to play the most because, as I've said, it's a very star-studded Libertadores round of 16. There's
Yeah,
going
and
to be
let's not
plenty of
forget
really
that.
I'm pretty sure they don't have that country thing. Do the country thing where you can't play the same country
no, they don't
team?
have the country thing either. No, we
Yeah,
can play
only
like
No,
it
because
can
there's
be
too
only
many
in the group
clubs.
stage.
yeah,
In the
exactly.
group stage, you
Okay.
can't get drawn with a team from your same country, but in the round of
Wait,
16,
do you mean there can't be over two teams from the same country, right?
well, no, yeah, well, there can be two from the same country, but only if one of them came from the preliminary rounds.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that
But
makes
two of them
sense. That
can't
makes
get
sense.
drawn into because then you could have a situation in which there'd be three from the same country.
Mhm.
So yeah. But and yeah, and obviously Universitario finished last. You know, the Peruvian teams are probably in the worst crisis they've ever been, you know, in our lifetime. So no surprise there.
All right then, yeah. That let's go to Group B, where another Brazilian team was finished first place. Internacional, another huge club. You guys might remember them beating Barcelona in 2006 for the World Cup for clubs. And
Club World Cup.
yeah, there you go. But funny enough, they never really do well domestically, but they're a huge club when it comes to international tournaments. They've won the Libertadores a couple times.
I don't think
They've
they've done well domestically, haven't they? I think the last time they won something was in the 70s.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's something where you can connect them to my favorite club, where they're the only team to this day to win the Brazilian league unbeaten. Like it was a different format. It wasn't like a league, 38 games or anything like that, but they won it without losing, which is quite remarkable.
yeah, that
Um,
was the probably the greatest Inter of all time with Falcao, the King of Rome.
And
there you go.
The Chilean center back, right? Um,
Yeah,
Figueroa, or how you pronounce his name?
Figueroa, yeah, amazing. That was 70, 74, 73, 74, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, incredible team. And Inter hasn't won a domestic title. Well, hasn't won the Brazilian league since. They've been pretty strong in the Brazilian Cup, and
Okay, yeah,
yeah, and they've won the Libertadores twice. 2 decades ago, they won the Copa
And
Sudamericana, and now they actually have. They got the coach from Independiente del Valle, who's actually a Spanish coach, one of the few European coaches that go on these South American adventures, and not a great start. Not a great start. They lost their state championship against their big rival Grêmio. They lost their first league game yesterday. Uh, oh, they tied at home 2-2 against a team that's most likely going to get relegated. And yeah, they struggled in this group that was out of the Brazilians, definitely the easiest one. You know, every Brazilian prays that they don't get an Argentinian in the group, and then you got a Bolivian, you got a Venezuelan, which should be easy games, and then Olimpia is a respectable team from Paraguay,
yeah,
and yet
yeah,
they struggled. You know, it went down to the very last match,
yeah. I think
and
they're
then
the very worst first place team, and
yeah, 10 points. Yeah, I believe so. And they really risked not even making it. Well, with 4 games in, this group was tied. Everyone had 6 points,
The
mhm.
and then they managed to pull through. But it's not looking good. It doesn't seem like they're getting any better. So it'll be
No,
interesting. The
yeah,
Libertadores only comes back in September, so a lot is going to change.
yeah, yeah. The draw's soon though, right?
The draws tomorrow, 1
on
p.m.
first
American
of June.
Eastern time.
All right, so I think that's 6 p.m. UK time. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll stay tuned for that. We'll let you guys know what happens there. Would you say that both teams from this group, both Internacional and Olimpia, they're probably some of the weaker first and second place clubs?
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting because not only Olimpia but Cerro Porteño went through in their group, and Paraguayan soccer is not like anywhere near the best it's been.
Yeah.
So maybe it's probably just a consequence of them being in a relatively easy group. So it's just a process of like chance
Yeah.
and process of elimination. But I would definitely say if my team finished first in the group, I would definitely be happy if he got Olimpia. And if my
Mhm.
team finished second, I would definitely be happy to get Inter. So,
There you
well,
go.
but
Yeah, my
again,
thoughts exactly. And I don't
but
see
again,
Deportivo Táchira doing much in the Sul-Americana either.
yeah, Táchira. I would actually argue Táchira was a better team than Olimpia, which is rare to say nowadays about a Venezuelan team.
Yeah.
But
Well, on
they
goal
missed
difference,
they. Sorry, go ahead.
they got knocked out on goal difference, or is it like
Yeah, they lost some stupid points at home, and I actually think they have a chance to do pretty well in the Sul-Americana. It's tough. It really depends on the draw. If they get a Brazilian team right away, it's going to be tough to go through. But Táchira, with Venezuela being in the situation that it's in as a country, and with the harsh restrictions that they have, these teams have been having a hard time even practicing.
Yeah.
They can't play at night. There's a lot of restrictions for them because of the COVID-19 situation there. So
Yeah.
even just the fact that they managed to get to the last round of this group stage still alive and almost went through, and they managed to finish third. They're in the Sudamericana, the only Venezuelan team still in the continental competition, and
Okay.
so
interesting.
it's
That's
very
that's
respectable
Yeah, I
run.
think Olympia got a dodgy penalty against them in the last, I think, on
I mean,
Thursday.
it's embarrassing, but the Libertadores doesn't have VAR for the group stages, so there were a lot of mistakes. And John can back me up here. Maybe he won't agree because he's not as not as biased as I am. He's more of an honest person than I am. But it's just like I feel like there's a Brazilian hunt. Like foreign refs tend to not like Brazilian players, Brazilian clubs. It's very often that you see decisions going against us in general. I mean, we're to blame as well. It's because we dive more than other South Americans, all of that. But there's also the language barrier. So yeah, we get a lot of mistakes. But refereeing, guys, it's not just in England. Refereeing is awful everywhere. And such a big competition like this, not having VAR, I mean, it's just embarrassing. There's VAR in the Campeonato Paulista, isn't there?
Yeah, there's state championships in Brazil that have it, and the group stage didn't have it. And Conmebol said that it was because of money, not because of COVID. They lost a lot of sponsors, and they didn't have money to install the equipment, especially in some. A lot of these teams, the Peruvian ones, the countries that are in the Andes, they're in very remote cities. It's not easy. It's not just like take a flight, go there. It's multiple flights, sometimes multiple bus rides, and it's not easy. You need the money, you need the logistics, and they weren't able to get it done. I'm sure they will, if not next year, the one after that.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, he touched on COVID, and I don't want to stretch too much on this depressing topic, but it should be said the group stages were very, very let's say COVID definitely got in the way of the competition for sure. There were some remarkable things that happened to River Plate that we'll get to for sure.
Yes.
But a
Yes.
lot of teams a lot of games had to be
I mean, I think that's the
relocated.
most well-covered topic of the competition in the media.
What?
The River Plate
COVID?
and thing.
Oh,
Oh
River
yeah,
Plate. Yeah, for sure. I saw
we'll get
Fabrizio
there, but
Romano
definitely one
talking
of my
about River
favorite
Plate.
stories of this year in the planet for sure.
Yeah, no, that was really really cool.
Also, speaking
We
of the
still
logistics
beat
thing,
them.
the team in Group C, the last place team, the strongest, they're in the middle of nowhere in Bolivia.
Yeah.
No, the
I,
strongest from La Paz. They're from
I
the
mean, I
capital.
mean, it's still like not mainstream. Like it's not. They don't have.
Yeah, but I was more talking, but it's still like the capital of Bolivia, so it's still like a direct
But
flight for most other cities, major cities in South America. But I was more talking about
I
like,
mean, South America isn't well connected like Europe, so it's way harder to do stuff like that here.
All
yeah, no,
right. Well,
I
definitely.
have to say,
That's my point. I'm just saying that outside of the capitals, it gets tough.
well,
make
now Now in front of you guys, you can see two of the biggest teams in South America, and you can see Boca and River as well. That was a joke. That was a joke. Okay, just making it very clear.
Well, if
But
you're
yeah,
making
let's.
jokes, the strongest was definitely not the strongest.
No, there. I thought of making that joke, mate, but I left it to someone else. You know, I do too many of these bad jokes already. Thank you for covering for me. I appreciate it. I
By the
appreciate
way,
it.
if you guys ever want to just have some laughs for about 30 seconds, just go on Wikipedia and read some of the Bolivian teams' names. Some of them are incredible. The strongest is just the tip of the iceberg. We actually, if you go back to Group B,
Always
real
ready.
quick, always
I'm going
ready.
there now.
Like, what an incredible name.
Yeah. By the way, the official language in Bolivia is not English. Yeah, it's Spanish. Just in case someone doesn't know that, but you know, it's
Yeah.
just Americanism.
I think I know about this the royal party. I don't even know what that means. I think in Bolivia, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Padilla is just the name of the city. Real Padilla is a team, but
But
my
the,
personal favorite from Bolivia is a team called the Destroyers. Amazing.
I
Our
mean,
team,
I don't know. Why can't they get creative?
the team name is always ready.
Always ready, such a
Yeah.
great name.
Yeah, it's pretty good, pretty good. All right, guys, let's get to Group C. That's a very one of the most interesting groups for sure. From this,
I thought Boca would top the group. I'm very
me
surprised.
too. I mean, everyone expected Boca and probably Santos to go through, and Barcelona just dominating the group like this was very remarkable.
I mean,
John,
Barcelona
just,
aren't even doing that great in the league.
go ahead, Steven. You were going to ask something.
I just wanted to ask a question. Did that actual Barcelona have any connection to the actual Barcelona in Europe?
I think it's just an homage. It's
Yeah.
Or it's just, yeah. Because
Yeah,
it
no,
looked,
it's-
I just wondered it had they were part of it being linked to in case there was any talent they wanted to bring through to Barcelona from America.
No, completely independent, and
Okay.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
just an homage
I
to.
think I heard
Just looked a
something
bit weird
about
that they're
their
the same
name.
badge. And
I think there's like I think I read somewhere. I think I'm not sure if it's true, but I think it's founded by someone, a Spanish immigrant who was from Barcelona. That's why he named the club Barcelona.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, definitely. But Barcelona, I mean, if you look at all of Latin America, I mean, Brazil alone probably has like 4 or 5 Barcelonas. You know, it's just one of those teams that the world loves. It's a very a team that's very sympathetic, I guess.
Yeah.
People like to like
But
Barcelona.
I
So,
think
Like there's
that
a-
Barcelona is totally different from like the actual their team.
oh, they all are, yeah.
It's like there's there's an Arsenal like and there's an Arsenal somewhere for some.
There's
can't
one in
remember where.
Sarandí,
There's a
Argentina.
Liverpool and Uruguay as well.
Yeah.
There's a Liverpool in Uruguay, yeah.
Yeah. Very, very common. There's a Real pretty much everywhere as well.
Yeah, every
Um,
Real you see in Bolivia is literally Real Madrid, like the same crown. It's pretty crazy, yeah. Because a lot of these teams were founded at a time where European soccer was so distant. There was no television, no maybe radio, so a lot of these things would be copied almost identically, and it wasn't something that anyone would ever even notice. And nowadays, it seems weird, but at the time it was very common.
all right. So yeah, it was. I think. I mean, I see Fluminense right down there, and it was also quite surprising that we finished first as well. But Barcelona finished.
I don't know how we beat River Plate.
We'll get to that. I'll tell you how we beat them, but we'll get to that. But Barcelona finishing first in a group. I mean, Santos just got a new manager, sort of a shambolic manager. He does a lot of surprising stuff every now and then. But he also gets he likes getting a red card every now and then. He's just all over the place. His teams tend to be really, really, really bad defensively. So I mean we could see it happening, but just Boca not finishing first is just such a surprise. By the way, Tevez still plays for them. That Carlos Tevez, yes.
I mean Andrada is very good. I think he's been helping Boca not concede more goals. I think I've seen a game where he basically saved them. He makes some amazing saves.
Yeah, Boca their problem isn't defensive, right? I mean, you can see here just real quick, they only conceded 2 goals in 6 games, but they've also only scored 6 goals in 6 games. So their attack is where they've been struggling. Their attackers are very old, right? Tevez can't play 90
Tevez
minutes.
is the only one who's been giving output at
Yeah,
all.
but Tevez can barely play 90 minutes. The last 20 minutes of Tevez on the field are tough to watch. Zarate is also like really old. Abila left. And ironically enough, Defensa y Justicia's top scorer is on loan from Boca. Boca, who's been struggling. Yeah, Valterbo is on loan from Boca, and I'd be surprised if he didn't get called back to Boca during this break for the Copa America. So the problem there is offense. It's not defense for Boca, but like you guys said, the surprise is definitely Barcelona. It's a team that's not doing well in the Ecuadorian league. It's a team that financially isn't doing great. No big investments, no big names. And I think they managed to go through kind of as a consequence of the way Santos collapsed mid-tournament. There was a deterioration of their roster that was horrible. They lost their 3 best players, right? Soteldo, that plays for the Venezuelan national team, went to Toronto FC. Pituca, their best midfielder, went to Kashima Antlers in Japan. And Lucas Verissimo went to Benfica, and Jorge Jesus asked for him.
And I think Marinho was injured for a while, so the other great player they had was also not present for most of it.
Yeah, so if you see Santos's games in the qualifying rounds before the group stage, they had like a 15-year-old score a goal, which was insane. You know, they had literal like adolescent kids out on the field, and Santos has one of, if not the best, youth academies in all of Brazil. So, but there you can only go so far, you know, with kids that young. Not to mention their coach left and like after 2 or 3 games because the fans were protesting in front of his apartment, and he was like, they know where I live, like I'm out of here, you know. He was from Argentina. He was like, man, who's making me do this, you know? Once he felt like he wasn't safe, he left. And now Santos got a coach that isn't a coach. I mean, Fernando Diniz coached my team and yours, Charlie, and my favorite phrase about him is that he's not a coach, he's an idea. He lives in this utopia where you can get 90% possession and it's all passing and positioning. But, you know, what you see on the field and what he says in an interview is worlds apart.
So, I think Steven can relate to that.
There's a couple of things I like about him. You know, he's absolutely insane. Like Fernando Diniz is crazy. I remember one game, Fluminense was playing Cruzeiro in the Brazilian Cup, and we had to score a goal to take the game to extra time. Dude, I think he played with like our left back became our only defender, and then he played like 7 forwards or something like that. It's the game where João Pedro scored that beautiful bicycle kick.
Yeah, he does that all the time. If the team needs a result, he'll take out all center backs, and he'll just pile up strikers. But that's the thing, because he gives off this image that he's a very sophisticated coach and he has these great ideas and that he's modernizing the game in Brazil. But then he does stuff like that. That's just like, it's just a desperate move, you know. He's just piling up strikers and just cross the ball and see what happens. Like that's not a strategy, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, truly, he's just a nut. He's a nut. That's the best way to describe Fernando Diniz. But I want to get to, just keeping the trend, just not to ignore this group. I would also say that Barcelona is one of those. I mean, if I'm finishing second, he's probably my favorite team to face for the next round. If not the favorite, one of them.
I'd say yes, because just by default, not Brazilian, not Argentinian means usually that it's an easier opponent. But out of the non-Brazil Argentina teams, I think Barcelona is the one that has the greater chance of advancing or making it to one of the further stages.
That's fair enough. And Boca is definitely like, if I'm finished, I did finish first, so I do not want to face Boca Juniors. in the round of 16. I'm not sure I'd say it's the worst one. I feel like if I'm to name one club that I really don't want to face that came in second, I'd probably say Sao Paulo. But Boca, like they're always dangerous. We have a decent history against Boca. Fluminense tends to beat them, but still, it's a huge freaking club. It's a huge freaking club.
And River
So,
Plate also finished second. Let's not forget.
oh yeah, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. But I know how to beat them now. But yeah, getting to
Fair
getting
enough.
to Group D then. That's another huge surprise. Big up Bargav. If you want to join, let me know. You're always welcome. Solo, always a pleasure, my man. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. And yeah, Group D was just a huge surprise. I gotta be honest. Fluminense was considered the third strength in this group. I think Barranquilla was like the second ranked team in this group, and I'm not surprised Fluminense qualified. I thought Fluminense was gonna qualify ever since the second game or something. I noticed that Fluminense stood a really good chance, but just finishing above River Plate, we'll get to that. There are circumstances, right? Like if we both played with our full strength the entire time, I'm quite confident River Plate would have edged us. But still, like whatever you can get against River Plate, screw it. I don't give a damn. They could have played with their 14-year-olds. I'd be proud if we finished ahead of them because it is a massive, massive football club. River Plate and Boca, they're usually considered the two biggest clubs in South America. I'm sure that's going to change soon with just this dominance of Brazil, but it's it's always a proud moment. But do you wanna explain what history River Plate made in this Libertadores, Johnny?
Yeah,
My
so because of COVID-19, Conmebol allowed every club to register over 50 players in the tournament, just so that they would make sure that none of the games got postponed because of a COVID outbreak in the team, and that every team would have enough players to go in with a full squad and with a reserve team and players on the bench and all that. River Plate thought that was not necessary. So instead of registering the 50, I think it was 52 teams that you were allowed, they registered, I think, just the regular 32, which is the number you're usually allowed in a normal circumstance. And sure enough, I think something like 22 players, or it was like 18 players tested positive, and there was another like 2 or 3 injured. So they actually went onto the field against Santa Fe from Bogota with Enzo Perez, which you guys probably remember from Benfica and the World Cup with Argentina.
midfielder.
He's a defensive midfielder. He played as a goalie. And Pinilla, who had a broken arm, still had like a couple more weeks to recuperate himself, and he was on the field. And along with a bunch of other players who had never played a professional game, and Santa Fe managed to lose, which was insane. It could have gone either one or two ways, right? Just because of how soccer is crazy. Either Santa Fe was going to win 12-0, or was going to happen what happened, which was River Plate had a historic night with a defensive mid in the goalie. They actually managed to pull out a win 2-1. But Santa Fe played, embarrassing. The one thing you got to do when a defensive midfielder is in goal is just shoot from anywhere. Like you got the ball, you're 40 yards out, doesn't matter, shoot the ball. Their first attempt at a goal was 40 minutes in. So I think they thought they were just going to go there and it was just going to happen naturally.
Yeah.
That the win was just going to somehow come, and it didn't. 15 minutes in, it was already 2-0. They weren't really putting any pressure on the goalie, and they got a goal at the end, but it was already too late. And it was a historic night. It's something that's going to be talked about for generations.
Yeah.
It was a point in the competition where Fluminense was looking so comfortable because we were going to play at home. If we won that game at home, like we're looking solid to finish first place, and we were quite confident that River Plate was going to lose that game. So we'd be like 5 points away from the second place. Then Fluminense lost our game at home against Barranquilla, the junior. team that you guys are seeing here, and River Plate managed to win that. It is probably a lot of. I mean, you got to give some props to River Plate, but Santa Fe played embarrassing football this group stage. Just like
Yeah, and there's
it's
also
it's
something that has
too
to be
bad.
mentioned about the Colombian teams, which is, the country is basically going through a civil war right now.
Yeah, yeah,
So the teams also haven't been able to practice, haven't been able to play. Their home games have always been taking place far away from the big cities. So it's been really tough for the Colombian teams. America, for example, America de Cali against Atletico Minero. We'll get to that group later, but that was a game that got suspended, or they paused the game like 5 times because of
yeah.
tear gas being
Mhm.
thrown at protesters right outside the stadium, and the wind was bringing in the tear gas inside the stadium. Players were crying. The game took
Yeah.
more than 2.5 hours to finish, and so it was a tough year for Colombian teams. None of them went through, but um, they're not doing great. But you can't ignore the political situation of the country. It definitely affected them.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, Fluminense didn't play in Colombia. Both away games that
Yeah,
were supposed to be in
it's true.
Colombia were played somewhere else.
They were in
Just
Paraguay.
another
Yeah.
one or two details from this group. First of all, River Plate's manager, he's regarded as probably the best in America.
He
If not the best, definitely like he's up there. You know,
he's going
he's
to
someone.
Real Madrid, isn't he?
He's going where?
He,
I think is he linked with Real as Zidane
He's
replacement?
oh wow.
every time there's a big team in Europe that fires
I'm
their
not sure.
coach, he's in the list of speculations because
Let me see.
no,
Yeah, I
he's
think
incredible.
he's
incredible.
close to signing at Real.
Yo, that'd be pretty cool. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that attempt. He's
CP, can
good.
you
He's
CP?
good.
Do you know more about that?
I think I've heard of it, but I don't know if it's close. He's been linked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we'll see.
well, just
Spain tends to be the natural path for Argentinian
of
coaches
course.
into Europe because of the language. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah. And just like he asked how Fluminense beat them. Fluminense played better like the entirety of the game. By the way, River Plate when they played Fluminense, it was the last game of the group round. It was in Argentina. We drew the one in Rio, and they weren't as crippled as they were before, right? Like they had more players. They had a proper goalkeeper there, but they were still quite, half the team wasn't really up to it. A lot of the first teamers, they had like 1 or 2 training days before facing Fluminense. Now Fluminense has a pretty big squad, so we're just like our physicality was just so much better than theirs. And Fred was just in another planet that day. Fred played so well from
Yeah,
number 9 to a sister. He was just amazing.
yeah. It breaks my heart every time I talk to someone who's not Brazilian about Fred, because his image, because of the 2014 World Cup, got destroyed. Destroyed for those who don't follow his career on a day-to-day or like on a club basis. Incredible striker. Incredible striker.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He's so good. I mean, I say he's the best player in Fluminense's history.
I just want
Like,
Galao to back at Nacional
hmm?
when you are actually good.
But yeah, Fred. I mean, some older people are gonna mention a goalkeeper that played for us in the 50s and 60s, Castillo. But Fred's just like he was the biggest name in the best era of Fluminense, and he's been our captain for God knows how long. He was out of the club for a while because of some bullshit from the board at that time, because Fred is Fluminense and Fluminense is Fred. Like there's just a lot of identification there,
Ah,
and he's got a lot of injury problems, but he is truly one of the best number 9s I've ever seen in Brazil.
Yeah.
Fluminense, right?
Yeah, from Fluminense.
I don't
Leading
think
scorer of the
I think,
Brazilian league from the year 2000 to the present day.
I don't think he's the best player they ever had.
Not he's not the best player in Fluminense's history. He's far from that, actually. We've had some great players. He's the biggest flip player in Fluminense history.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. We had Rivelino in Fluminense. I mean, technically Ronaldinho played for us,
Ah,
So
well, I
Let's
would
not
say
talk about that.
I would say Didi from the 50s.
GG.
GG was
was a
immense
great
as
one.
well. But Fred captained us winning the Brazilian league twice. We have 4
Mhm.
wins, and he was our captain for 2 of them.
In 2012
He
or
got
2010, I think.
Yeah, 2010 and 2012 exactly. 2012 he was our best player. 2010 he was a little subpar, but he was still good. In
I think we won the
2009,
state championship in 2012 as well.
yeah, he did. In
Yeah.
2009, Fluminense was like 99% chances of getting relegated. He was part of that amazing comeback where Fluminense like won 10 and drew 1 to save
The
themselves.
famous team of warriors.
Team of Warriors, yeah, exactly. We're known as the Team of Warriors because of that season, and he was like the biggest player there too. So yeah, he just means too much for Fluminense. He means too much. But I don't want to stretch myself just with my club, even though it's the best club in the world. Like we got to keep talking about other teams as well. And Group E, we find Racing in first. Oh, just really quickly. I don't want to be too biased. I'm sure most teams that finished in second wouldn't mind getting Fluminense here. Not because Fluminense is not good. Fluminense is doing really okay. Like we're doing well, and we're going to be favorites versus most second place teams. But
Mhm.
most first place teams are better than us, or at least considered better than us. So you have the likes of Palmeiras, who's much more dangerous than us.
Mhm.
Actually, I say we're ahead of Internacional and Barcelona, and maybe even Racing, but Flamengo and Atletico Minero are quite dangerous as well. And River's definitely one of the most dangerous second place teams for sure. But
If
the
not
fall
the
zone,
most.
hmm?
If not the most.
If not the most, because a lot of that's to do with the manager they have. But John, if you want to, I'm assuming this is the group you were the most tuned in. So yeah, let us know.
Yeah, so this group was actually a little uneventful, I'd say, but we can get into like a little bit of the culture of Brazil and Argentina and how they faced the Libertadores. I think was really interesting here, and I'll explain why. So obviously, as far as the table goes, again, the trend that we've been talking about, Brazil and Argentina went through. Sporting Cristal, which was the Peruvian champion, finished third and is going to go to the Sul-Americana. Rentistas is like
Uruguayan team.
half of a neighborhood team in Uruguay. Like literally, if they have 2,000 fans, I might not even believe you.
Yeah, they're not
And
from Montevideo. I think
yeah,
they're
one
one
of
of.
the like 57 teams from Montevideo. And
Yeah.
but so what happened here in this group was that in Brazil they always emphasize how important it is to finish first in the group. Always, it's something that the media touches on all the time. It's something that the coaches will say, no, we want to finish first. And it's because, in theory, if you finish first, you're going to get an easier team in the second round because you're going to play against someone who finished second, and you get to play the second leg at home, right? But Argentinians don't really see the competition like that. They really see the competition as being divided into two separate things. One is the group stage where you just need the points and you need to go through, and then the knockout stages. And the knockout stages is a different thing. It doesn't matter who you play, doesn't matter what the order of the game is. You just got to get there, and then you manage to find a way to win. Sao Paulo this year has an Argentinian coach, Hernan Crespo. So Sao Paulo was the only Brazilian team that actually didn't care about finishing first. Sao Paulo was already like virtually qualified with three games in. So the last 3 games in the group stage played with their bench. Not one starter played the last 3 games of the group stage, and they went through. They finished second, and no one cares.
Yeah.
I've heard people talk about this. This is going to be a problem because now they can maybe get Fluminense next round, but maybe Flamengo that finished first place now is going to have to play against River Plate that finished second. So the pots themselves are pretty even. I don't think there's that much of an advantage to finish first anyway. And also, Sao Paulo went 9 years without winning a trophy, and the group stage of the Libertadores coincides with the Brazilian state championships, which Sao Paulo needed to win, and they did. So they prioritized that, and so
Against
that I think was
Palmeiras.
interesting to see. Yeah, against
I
Palmeiras
still
in the
don't
final.
know how Sao Paulo drew with. I don't know how to pronounce any of these names. The Uruguayan team.
with Rentistas.
Yeah.
Again, reserve team. I think not even the goalie started. I think it was 100% reserve team.
I mean, Varini is as a coach is not even that great. He's average. He's not even average. They're doing shit in the Uruguayan league as well. It's
Yeah,
just been horrible.
they had a great run last year. You know, they won the club's first ever or the second trophy, if I'm not mistaken, in their history. But just like any small South American team that does well, they got completely dismantled. Bigger teams went there and picked all the, you know, players that were worth giving a chance. And
They didn't.
so
They didn't
now
actually win
they're,
it. They finished second in the. They finished second. They didn't win it. They didn't. I'm pretty sure they didn't win it.
but then they win the Torneo Intermedio.
I think so. I'm not. I don't remember. I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
they beat Liverpool in the final of the Torneo Intermedio that qualified into the semifinal of the Euro.
Yeah,
Uruguay has a
and then
crazy
I know.
tournament structure, so it's a little confusing.
It
But
was a famous episode in our channel where CP was trying to explain that format to people.
Oh,
no,
was-
it's something incredible. There was one year where like Nacional had to beat Peñarol in order to play Peñarol in the semifinal,
Yeah.
and then the winner of that semifinal would play Peñarol again. Like it was insane. And
There's some
it's
crazy
really confusing.
situations, very unique. I won't say crazy, unique things
What
that
are
you
your-
can
Unique
do.
is a better word. I agree with that. I miss the days when the Brazilian league, you know, took hard work to understand what was happening.
What are your thoughts on Racing that finished first? How strong of a team are they?
Not that strong. I wasn't very impressed. They have a few players that are good, but they have a very, very defensive coach.
Yeah.
It's nothing special. I think that's one of the easiest first place teams to pick in the round of 16. I'd be surprised if they made it further into the quarterfinals.
All right. I'll probably ask you to rank the first and second teams here so that we know like who's interesting to face.
Sure.
Okay, we're running a little out of time, so if we can speed up and speed things up just slightly here. Group F, we have Argentinos Juniors finishing first. I didn't watch any of their games, but I heard that they're playing surprisingly well.
Yeah,
Um,
they've been good, but I still don't know how they lost to us. But yeah.
You know what, Johnny? If you can take a rest, I'm gonna give this group to CP because he's a Nacional
Absolutely.
fan. Yeah, CP, tell us about Group F.
We're the biggest bottle jobs on planet Earth. We needed to win our last game against Católica, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got destroyed 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the thing is we don't have I really don't like our coach. I think it's Capuccio. You know that other Uruguayan team? Renestias, I don't know how to pronounce their name.
Renchistas.
Yeah,
Renchistas.
yeah. He's the former coach, and I really don't like him. He's Yeah, what can I say? I think the only good thing about him is because one of our youngsters, Brian Ocampo, if you've heard of him, he's finally performing in the competition because usually he only does well in the Uruguayan league. But I think he's our after Brigasio, the striker from Argentina, he's our
Yeah.
top scorer. I think they're equal on goals. Then and then Brigasio scored a hat trick against the last place team, and we managed to draw 4-4. I still don't know how.
By the
But
way, this last place team, it's not it's not a small club whatsoever. Atletico Nacional,
No.
you guys probably know a name that's very attached to them, Pablo Escobar. It's back in his, empire, the team got a lot better.
I know they're
And
not a small team. But
hmm?
yeah, I know they're not
They're
a small
definitely the
team.
biggest team from Colombia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go. They're a huge club. They found some success recently as well. Colombia had a really
what?
nice spell
I'll
not
tell
too
you
long
how.
ago.
You know what? I just want to say how bad we bottled it. Okay, so I think they took the lead 1-0, and Brigasio scored an equalizer. They took the lead again, and Fernandez, I think he scored 2-2 at halftime, and then
Mhm.
Brigasio scores a hat trick. We go 4-2 up in the 65th minute. I'm like, yes, we actually might go through this group. and then we die 4-4 in the 85th minute. It was so annoying. It's it's annoying. Anyways, Argentinos, they play some pretty good football. I think. I mean, they might do well. I think I forgot they have some very good players, and I think what's his name? Avalos. I think that's his name from Paraguay. He's pretty good. Emmanuel Herrera's pretty good, and yeah,
This was a
that's
very
pretty good.
balanced group. A very, it's a
Yeah, there's
group
no
that
very like amazing team. That's what.
exactly. It was a really tough to call. Like it'd be hard to place a bet, right? Like say who's gonna go through because it's very evened out. If Nacional and Atletico Nacional went through, like it'd be a little surprising, but it wouldn't be wow, what just happened
Yeah.
here. By the way, guys, we just hit the 1 hour mark. 5 people are watching right now. If you can hit the like, subscribe, share, do what you can to support us, please. And yeah, do you guys have anything else to add to Group F? I would also say not to their demerits or anything like that. It's also like two of the clubs that I wouldn't mind facing in the round of 16, given who else is
Yeah,
there.
they're not that great to be fair.
Yeah.
You-
Do you agree with that,
Yeah.
Johnny?
Yeah. I just want to point out that Universidad Católica is 3 times Chilean champion, and that it hasn't been reflected in the Libertadores. And who knows, maybe this might be the year where they go a little further. It's been a while since we've had a Chilean team do well.
Yeah.
So
It's
so yeah,
been a hot minute.
glad to see them there, to be honest.
Yeah. This group G was immense as well. Very competitive group. I mean, Flamengo's probably the favorite to take it all. And you have Vélez, that's another immense team. LEDU was the champion in
I mean, I love
2008
Thiago Almada. He's so
against
good.
Same.
yeah.
Same.
Almada
LEDU.
is Almada's so good from Vélez.
Yeah,
Oh
you guys are
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
see this kid in Europe like very
Almada, yeah.
soon.
Yeah. But LDU, like it's the South American team outside of Brazil that Fluminense hates the most. They beat us in 2 finals straight in 2008, 2009. So yeah, we hate their guts. But very, very, very tough group. I mean, people expected Flamengo to finish first. They didn't. They didn't finish first comfortably. I mean, they were already looking good in the last round, but they had some really stiff competition. When they play LDU, by the way, that's like 3 kilometers up. So it's not easy to play in Quito, right? Like it fucks you up. A lot of players get sick and all of that.
The air's thinner in it, so you get less air to
Exactly.
breathe. So
Exactly. So yeah, Johnny, if you want to talk about that, do you agree the Flamengo are favorites? What are your thoughts on Vélez, LDU?
Yeah, so Flamengo, I mean, honestly, the only reason why they didn't win out was because they were already qualified halfway through. So then they started playing some reserve players, started tying some games.
Yeah.
I don't think that says anything about them not being as strong as we thought they were or
Mhm.
anything like that. It's just a consequence of having such a calendar, like such a crazy calendar with so many games in such a short span of time, and you got to make decisions. So they tied some of the last games, but they're still the strongest team in the competition. Vélez hasn't done well in the Libertadores since the late '90s, so it's cool to see them there again. And any Argentinian team is tough. I don't think they'll make it very far. I think they got to get a little lucky with the draw. We'll see. I actually thought La Liga de Quito was going to finish second in this group. They did well last Libertadores. They actually knocked out Sao Paulo from the group stage and only lost to Santos on away goals in the round of 16. They should have gone further, I think. So that was a little bit of a disappointment for me. And Unión La Calera, I mean, small team from Chile. Actually the same agent that's been putting his players in Defensa y Justicia, he also takes care of this team, so to speak, in Chile. So that's how this team managed to get to such a big competition. But in this stage they
Yeah, right
struggled.
now I think they're doing mid-table in like real in the league. I think they're somewhere
You
in the
guys are
bottom.
not
Yeah,
gonna get you guys are not going to get this reference, but I'm just going to ask because I want to know. They're sort of like a Tombense from their countries, right?
Yeah, it's like one of those teams that was literally just created
To sell players.
to sell players. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very common tradition in South American football, guys. I mean, at least in Brazil it is. I wasn't even aware that it was popular anywhere else, too.
Yeah.
Mm.
And in Brazil, teams like that usually don't go any further than the
No.
fourth division. But in other countries where soccer is less competitive and the pyramid is just shorter, you'll see teams like that make it to the first division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and here's the last group. Atletico Mineiro. That's where Hulk is playing now. He just joined them. That's another really strong team. I feel like most people would say they're the third strongest team in Brazil. I mean, now Sao Paulo is coming in hot as well, and Grêmio is always dangerous, but I'd probably argue that Atletico Mineiro is the one more competitive. They're a little screwed. Like their biggest rival was doing really well a couple years ago too, but just you know just adding to the amount that they owe, and it's very likely that the same thing is going to happen to Atletico Mineiro. They're gonna break, just gonna go bankrupt and go to the second division, just like Cruzeiro, because pretty much everyone owes a lot of money in Brazil, but Atletico tops that list. So
Yeah, there's no financial fair play in South America, so a team can spend as much as it wants, and they've definitely been overspending. They're building a new stadium. So it's funny because usually when you see a team build a stadium, usually it's the opposite. You'll see the soccer team suffer a little bit. They won't have any big names for a while. And Atletico Mineiro is doing the opposite. Like mid construction of a huge stadium, they also have the most expensive team they've ever had in the history of the team. So they're definitely going all in. They have an investor behind them. He's a Brazilian billionaire who's a fan of the club, so he's loaning a lot of the money. But if he
I
doesn't
think
start,
I think I heard Hulk was on like insane wages or something.
I mean, for European football, he's not going to be on insane wages
I
because
mean,
if you do the
comparatively, like
conversion,
to most like players in Brazil,
I'm
he's
assuming he's like top 5 highest paid players in Brazil and South
yeah,
America for sure.
he's. I mean, I imagine if there's anyone who makes more than him, it's Gabigol, and that's it. I
Yeah.
imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have the
Yeah.
numbers in front of me, but definitely like a crazy high wage. But he's been playing well though. He's the leading scorer of the Libertadores, tied with a couple other players, but he has 6 goals so far in 6 games.
Yeah.
And he already scored a goal just yesterday for the Brazilian league. So
Mhm.
he's been corresponding on the field, which I was surprised. A lot of I'd say even most players go to China and come back and they're just not the same. But
Mhm.
so far that hasn't been the case. He's been playing pretty great.
I mean,
No,
he's a beast. I expect him
yeah.
to perform
I
for some
expected him
time.
to play well as well. He's I just don't think in Brazil it's not a lot of people that can deal with his strength. I was pretty excited to see him here. I mean, this group was arguably one of the easiest groups, and Atletico made it look even easier. It was a walk in the park for them. They could have probably like gone through this group with their sub team. But I
Yeah,
mean, I'm not no disrespect. Cerro Porteño, they're a huge club, but they haven't been doing amazing or anything like that. I'll give the floor to John once again.
yeah, no, that there's really not much to say about Atletico Mineiro other than now they're gonna play in theory easier teams, and they're gonna play every second leg at home because they finished first overall, so that's the advantage. But yeah, like you said, the teams that they play against aren't really like a good parameter to
Yeah.
measure how strong they actually are. I'm sure they would have struggled a little more in other groups.
Hmm.
And but more than that, just a big disappointment again. The Colombian team. I think America should have finished ahead of Cerro Porteño. But again, I don't think they've played
Speaking of
any.
Cerro Porteño, I have it's I think I've seen a bit of history of the. It's a very interesting club, like how it was formed. More, I mean, I think at the time, I think they were formed around in the 1910s, around that time, and there was like severe political instability in Paraguay, and this team was kind of to unify most of the people of Paraguay because it was between the liberals and the Crimson Party, I think. And then you have their colors are red and blue, which was like represents liberals and the what's that Colorados, and it brought together most people in the country, and it's pretty interesting if you see that history.
It's cool. It's cool. I mean, I knew that they were. I wasn't aware of this, but I knew that they were a big club for sure. But just to educate you guys a little bit on the players that are doing well right now, just number wise. There's a couple to point out that are outside of this as well. But as you see, Gabigol, he's one of the main players in South America,
He's
if not
probably
the
the
main
best
player.
player,
He's not the best player in South America.
one of the best, I
Yeah, he's
think.
one of the best. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy because he scores so many goals. I'm not even sure I would have him start if I was the Flamengo manager. I like Pedro better than I like Gabigol,
Wow, I
but
disagree so much. I think he
I
should start
get
for the
that.
Brazilian national team, and I'm not even joking.
Gabigol?
Yeah, I think only Neymar is the only Brazilian striker that's better than
I
him
think
on the planet.
Gabigol made the Brazil squad, didn't he?
He did, but like he made like the first team. I don't know if he's actually going to make the last cut to play the Copa America, and if so, I doubt that he's going to see the field. Uh, there's a lot of
Yeah.
politics behind the Brazilian national team, which is very frustrating. But to me, he's
Do
ahead
you
of
think he
Gabriel
deserves to
Jesus. He's
start
ahead of
if he does make
Firmino.
it?
Ahead of Richarlison. He's ahead of
He's
what
ahead of
did he?
Richarlison. Nah, dude. The
Richarlison, shit,
pigeon.
man. He's been
He's not.
absolutely shit.
See, shut up. Richarlison is not shit.
Nah.
He
He's
is
the
Nah,
People
mighty
shit.
like him
yeah.
because
pigeon,
he's
dude.
charismatic, but the guy has like 12 goals in the season. Like
He doesn't even have 12. He has like 7 goals, and he's supposed to be this amazing player, but he's been shit in 2021.
But going
Shit is a
back to this
strong
list
word.
of the Libertadores strikers, Miguel Borja deserves like a
Yeah.
podcast of his own because he went to Palmeiras right as a huge signing a couple years ago. Never did well for Palmeiras, but at the same time was getting called to the Colombian national team, scoring goals. And then Palmeiras lent him out to Junior Barranquilla, which is the team from his city, his hometown team, and he's been killing it. He's been scoring so many goals, and Palmeiras, on the other hand, has been having trouble scoring goals, or at least the Palmeiras' strikers. You know, the midfielders have been doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So, and
It's
two times
crazy,
Borja
man.
came this close to going back to Palmeiras, and it didn't happen. And now here he is again, new season, Libertadores, leading scorer. You know,
It's something insane. Like he played like a little over 100 games for Palmeiras or something like that, and scored like 32 goals or so. And in Barranquilla, like he upped that number of goals in like 35 games. Like he averaged almost 1 game a goal when he got
yeah, I
back.
think
So
he's
yeah,
just one of those. Some players just have to be like in the right city at the right time, surrounded by
yeah,
the right people, and sometimes it's got to be the home team in your home country. I think that's what it boils
absolutely,
down to. Yeah.
absolutely. Then you have Honi for Palmeiras, really good player as well. He's a winger mostly.
Mm-hmm.
I
Wait,
do not know this.
Fred isn't in this list?
No, Fred has scored 4 goals, so he
Oh,
just
okay.
missed out. He just missed out. Yeah. It should be said, Borja, he has more games, I think.
Yeah, because Junior played the qualifying round before the
Yeah,
group stage,
exactly.
so I think he has at least 2 games more than everyone else. But you also got to
Exactly.
consider that his teammates aren't nearly as good as Gabigol or Hulk, for example.
Of
So
course, of
yeah,
course. I mean, that's probably the case with Ortiz and Barrera as well, I'm assuming.
yeah.
They played
Barrera
the.
also made Sofa scores top 11. So I haven't
Oh.
seen him play, but apparently he was one of the highlights.
Were there
Um,
any Brazilians in that top 11?
yeah, I have the team right here. So the
Oh,
striker.
yeah, that guy, the Hawaiian guy. He's the only reason Atletico Nacional, I think,
Mhm.
got some points.
Yeah.
in the-
So
If you want, we can even show the list, mate. If you want to put it in your screen, you can show the
wait,
best players.
I'll
Because I want to
send
ask
you.
you that too.
I think it's easier. I
Oh,
just sent you.
yeah. I'll put it up right now. 1 second, guys. So, oh yeah, I gotta stop this screen and start a new one. Gonna share screen. Give me 1 minute. It's this one.
There
Right,
we
so
go.
green screen for now. There it is. There it is. No Fluminense players. That's criminal.
Oh,
All right. So yeah, do you wanna talk through this team, mate?
Me?
John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so again, up top, Valterbo, best striker of the group stage, on loan from Boca, whose biggest problem is scoring goals. So there's a little bit of irony in that. I think Barrera making it in that team is pretty significant considering his team finished last in the group.
Yeah.
Savarino is a Venezuelan that has been playing for Atletico Minero for a couple of years now. Fans love him. Really great. Doesn't score a lot of goals, but he's one of those wingers that will always go for the dribble. He outruns the defender. Lots of assists. So he's really good. Arrascaeta, I mean, incredible. Probably
Yeah.
the best number 10 in South America. Uruguayan
Yeah.
national team. Incredible player. Honi also. He's Mr. Libertadores, right? He plays 20 times better in the Libertadores than he plays in the Brazilian league. So no surprise there.
Very
And
fair.
and the defense is just pretty solid. Felipe Luis, you guys definitely remember him from Atletico de Madrid. He's still there, definitely past his prime, but still extremely solid. Cuesta and Habelo, two extremely solid defenders too that play in the Brazilian league. McAllister, I personally haven't seen him play, but I've heard good things about him. I think if he hasn't already, he's going to get chances with the Argentinian national team. And Arias is definitely a great goalie. I think he's like 35, 36. He's
But
up there.
I think Andrade deserved to be there because I think the only reason they I think Boca didn't lose to Barcelona was because of Andrade because he made some insane saves. I think he's been very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure if he's not the second best keeper, he's at most the third. He's definitely had a great year or a great first half of the year.
All right. Well, I mean, we don't have a lot of time. We got to wrap up soon. But Johnny, would you? I think it could be pretty cool if we ranked the clubs that went through the next stage. I can put the table back up here, so
Sure.
we can let people know like who are the best first places, the best and the best second places as well.
Yeah.
And if at the same time, if you can let us know more or less like what you expect to see and the remaining of the competition, right?
Okay, yeah,
So
let's take a look. Yeah, I definitely want to preface any prediction I make with the fact that the Libertadores only comes back in September. So
right,
not only is that a lot of time for things to change, but also that's a full European transfer window. So I wouldn't be surprised if at least one or two of these teams will be completely like unrecognizable.
yeah,
So that's one of the
I'm pretty sure
the
they'll
unique
have to sell as
characteristics
well.
of South American soccer, you know. So
yeah.
and that's why there's a
Who
lot of rotation between champions. That's why you never see the same team winning 2 or 3 times in a row because European clubs come there, take the best players, and
absolutely.
there's no continuation to the project.
Even Flamengo, in all of their might, there's a good chance that they're gonna be losing two crucial players soon in Jerson
Who
and Everton Ribeiro. So that's gonna be a huge toll for them
Yeah,
because they're
Everton Ribeiro hasn't been great. Gerson is a player that there's no way they'll be able to replace him at that level.
there's no literally like it would cost like 50 million euros to replace Gerson.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's not a lot of Gersons there.
The immediate reserve would be Thiago Maia, which I mean, definitely like quality player,
Yeah.
but I'd be very surprised if he maintained the same level as Gerson.
Oh yeah, same here. All right, then to get this done, who would you? I mean, it's quite obvious, right? Like, do you feel like the worst first place that anyone would want to face is Flamengo, right?
Definitely Flamengo. Uh, Palmeiras is tough. Palmeiras is a team that doesn't concede a lot of goals, and they
Yeah,
seem to play better in the Libertadores. So sometimes you'll see them play in the Brazilian league, and you get the impression that they're not doing great, but they're a team that I'd want to avoid. Atletico Minero is kind of a question mark for me because they did really well, but they got a weak group. I don't see them being very like a team that you can trust in to be consistent. I'm not sure what to expect. The tendency is for them to get better in these next couple months.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's a team that I would want to avoid, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just got knocked out in the next round.
All right. Well, but I agree with you that it's the third strongest team, though. That I
Yeah.
like. If I finish second, I would not want to face them. CP, by the way, if you disagree with anything we're saying, please do interject.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys know more than me, so
So fourth one, I might say Fluminense, dude.
Yeah, the two Argentinian teams that finished first, Racing and Argentinos Juniors, don't convince me too much, especially not Racing.
Yeah.
Inter doesn't convince me. Yeah,
Exactly.
I'll
Yeah.
say them as well, I think.
yeah, it'd
Alright,
probably be
so-
Fluminense.
Who knows? We might
and
win.
then
We might
Barcelona.
win our first one.
Hmm?
We might win. I hope we win the competition. Hope.
I mean, it's extremely unlikely. Extremely unlikely. We're definitely underdogs, but there's always a chance,
Our Fred
All right,
masterclass.
Steven, I'm gonna be wrapping up in 5 minutes, so I'll
Yeah,
get to
that's
that
well.
one second.
That's well.
So who else? So Fluminense fourth. Would you guys put the Argentinians ahead of Inter?
Yes, I'd say even both of them. I'd say then it would be either Argentinos Juniors or Racing.
Mhm.
Hard to pick an order there. And then comes and then would maybe Inter and Barcelona last, or maybe the other way around. Man, Inter is. I watched the full game last night, and it's
I
not
have
looking
no
good.
faith in them. I
Not
have no
looking good.
faith in
Yeah,
Inter. Yeah.
they actually finished first with less points than less or the same amount of points as 4 of the second place teams in other groups. So
There you go. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, Inter's not looking good. Okay, so that does it for the first places. So we have Flamengo, Palmeiras, Atletico, Fluminense, Racing, Argentinos Juniors, Inter, and no, sorry, Barcelona of Guayaquil and Inter. And for the second places, I think I'd put River in first, Sao Paulo second, Boca third.
Boca third.
I would still put both Argentinians in first and second. River, Boca, Sao Paulo third.
Okay.
Yeah, just because of the
Fair enough.
nature of the club and the tournament. Like, man, I've seen Boca teams that deserve to get relegated get to the final. It's insane. It's
Yeah.
the synergy that they have with this tournament is unlike any other, and the fact that they don't have fans in the stadium kind of takes away from that a little bit. But everyone who walks into the Bombonera with or without fans,
I might be dreaming, but I want to see Boca and River in the final.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good
Yo,
with the fans in the
It's
stadium.
it's
whoever's
a
a
crazy game.
whoever's a stadium buff, like La Bombonera is definitely a stadium that you wanna check out. It's filled with history. It's so cool. It's like it's a little cooking pan, mate. It's tough to play in there. The energy is just unbelievable. I mean, I've never been, but just looking at it, it looks phenomenal, dude. It looks phenomenal. That's definitely something that I want to do. It's in my bucket list. So, all right. So, second place after those three, who are by far the most dangerous second places here? Who's your fourth? Velas.
Yeah.
is probably
So
one
I
of
then
them.
there's a
Portugal.
big drop definitely after those 3, and then
Yeah.
I would want to avoid maybe Defensa y Justicia. I think even though they're
Okay.
not a great team, they're an extremely annoying team to play against.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't be favorited, I don't think, against anyone, but it's just such a tough team to play against. Universidad Católica, again, 3 times Chilean champion, and they have never done really well in the Libertadores. This might be the year. So I'd put, and then I'd go with Vélez
Vélez.
after that, and then the 2 Paraguayan teams at the bottom.
All right. What like who's worse, Cerro or Olimpia?
I think Olympia's worse.
All right, that's fair
Yeah,
enough.
actually, the Paraguayan champion is Libertad. It's not even any of these two teams. And I think Olimpia finished like 4th. So not a great year for Paraguayans. It was surprising to see 2 of them go through.
I mean, you can see that in the national team as well. They're not going through a good stage of Paraguayan football in general because they were quite competitive in the beginning of the century. I feel old saying that, but they were.
They managed to get 3 or 4 like top tier defenders in the same generation, and that helped a lot. They made it to the quarterfinals, right, in the Brazil World Cup 2014, or no, round of 16.
No.
Sorry,
Yeah,
round of 16. Yeah, they lost against Costa Rica, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Right, and then Costa Rica lost to Holland.
Yeah.
But
and those PKs, where Crow came in. Yeah,
exactly.
You're right.
Which year?
2014, because we got knocked.
2014.
Oh yeah,
Brazil,
that's when Keylor Navas got like recognized. Right?
Yeah, Costa Rica was in England's group.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it was England, Italy, Uruguay, and Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Guys, I think we're definitely gonna have to go back to this subject, right? Like, as you can see, we spent over almost an hour and a half only talking about the group stages of the Libertadores. It's, when I get to John, I'll ask for his predictions as well, but I know that some people have scheduled things, so I'm gonna start giving time for people to shout out where to find them. I want to thank you so much, every one of you, for let me take this out of here. Every one of you for supporting, for watching, for being here, guys. Thank you so much. Steven, let's start with you because I know you're about to go to your channel now.
Yeah,
where can we find you?
You can find me on my channel, which is SVT TV. June the 5th, we're doing a fundraising quiz to find more money for Children's Liver Disease Foundation. So come and check that out. We've got Flawless, Carefree Lewis G, some top level sort of YouTubers coming on for that. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to this channel as well. Make sure you do that first before coming over and subscribing to my channel. And yeah, we're live. I'll put it back 15 minutes, but we're live in 15 minutes, basically looking at the Americas to see what talents there we can have, like, because Arsenal needs some talent. Right? So,
we do.
We do. And yeah, Marley, hopefully I can get you over there in a minute. And yeah, you never know.
I'll be there, bro. I'll be there, bro. And all right, thank you as always, man. You know I love you, and you're always welcome here. I can't wait to be in your channel again.
Yes,
15
mate,
minutes from now. All right, CP, where can we find you, bro? Thanks again.
You'll basically find me here or Steven's channel. That's pretty much it.
All right, short and sweet. It's good enough. Tijo, you didn't shut up today, man. You couldn't stop talking. So yeah, if you wanna shout out your socials, maybe like where to find you. Thanks for being here with us as always. If not in the chat, you're on the stream. So yeah, part of the family, mate.
Well, I needed to teach you guys about the Copa America, the Copa Libertadores. So I wouldn't shut up, no. But you can find me on Instagram at Seco Shitpost, and you can find me every stream.
All right, man. All right. Come back whenever you want. Sven.
Yes. I haven't said much, but I learned a lot, so that's good. Thanks for the for telling me all this stuff, John, especially. And you can find me on Footy Community on Instagram, on Twitter as well, and here every Monday, I think. Yeah.
All right, man. All right. Quality as always. I know, like, today you didn't speak as much, but you always contribute a lot. So thank you. You're part of the family as well. You're always welcome. And Johnny, dude. I mean, this was his stream, right? Like, everyone probably knows how much this dude knows about South American football by now. I definitely want to keep him in the loop. Like, no one steals him. He belongs to this channel now. All right. Just making that very clear. He's welcome to go anywhere else, but he's my friend. I went to college. I played football with him, so put some respect in our friendship. But yeah, Johnny, thank you so much. I don't know if you want to shout out any social medias, if you want people to follow you, but I know that you have something to share. I'll leave it up to you how you want to do this.
Yeah, first of all, thank you guys so much for having me. It was fun. I've never spoken about South American soccer like in a setting like this, so it was a lot of fun. I can't wait to be back a second time. Maybe talk about
Absolutely.
some South American leagues or something like that.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna ask anyone to follow me on social media because I don't. There's nothing interesting there, so I wouldn't even bother you guys with that. However, I do have a soccer or football, sorry, football kit store based here in Miami. That's what you see in the background here. This is our little office here. So I just wanted to shout out the store. We ship worldwide. Uh, give me 1 second.
Yeah, he's gonna show you
I'm
guys
gonna
the
yeah,
page.
I'll share the page for you guys. So here we go. You guys can
Oh,
see it, right?
Well, I'd
yeah, I
definitely
have
buy
to
one if I could afford the shipping.
add to stream.
Yeah, so
There it is.
we're in Miami, Florida. We ship worldwide, and the name of the store is Golaço Kits. Golaço is spelled in Portuguese, so it's with a C. So if you were to type it in, it's actually golacokits.com. And we have jerseys from all over the world. We were talking about South American soccer. Like here's a Colo Colo jersey, Boca, Mamelodi from Africa, Dallas Burns, some old school MLS stuff. Definitely European soccer stuff too. Bayern Munich, Ajax 97, 98. You know, we have a little bit of everything. We have thousands of jerseys and hats and scarves and everything. So if you guys want to take a look, scroll through our products. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. We have some pretty unique stuff. And if guys want to follow us on social media too, it's at Golazo Kids, again spelled Golaco. And yeah, thank you so much again for having me. It was a lot of fun. How
No,
do I
it was
stop
my
sharing?
pleasure, man. And like, how
There.
like were you guys looking at this? How dope does the page look? Like, look at those kits, look at those shirts from like 30 years ago. That's so awesome, man.
Yeah,
So
we
awesome.
we focus on vintage, but we also try to, get jerseys from all over the world. So we literally have like Malaysian clubs. But you
Just
can also
follow.
find your Manchester United jersey if that's what you're into. There's something for everyone.
No one cares about Man United, dude.
True.
No one does. No one
Oh,
does.
you have the
Malaysian clubs are more
0-1-0 to
important.
Liverpool kid. Oh my God.
I'll tell you a little secret. Doesn't sell well.
What?
Man United.
There you go. That's all the answer we needed,
Weak
right? Like,
fans, weak fans. So if you're a Man United fan and you're watching this, you gotta step your game up.
there you go. There you go. The challenge has been set, guys. So yeah, that's it, guys. We've gone a little over 90
Be
minutes
careful,
already.
Marley. I'll be careful, Marley. The owner, like that, your boss is is a Man United fan.
He's not my boss. We co-own the channel,
Cool.
dude. What the hell? I ain't got no bosses, dude. Yo,
I mean, this channel is called Football
you can't
United
clip
TV
my
for a
wings.
reason.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much. If you're not doing anything after this, go tune in on Asfitli TV because I'm gonna go in there and we're gonna stay in South America, but a little more Arsenal specific. But thank you all so much, so much. I'm getting used to this hosting thing. Uh, Hope to get the numbers up in a little bit. But yeah, find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Marley Chillin on Twitter, at Charlie Millen on Insta. Find me here. Find me on Steven's channel. Big up all of these individuals here in my family. And yeah, that's it. I have to put the little outro here. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. United we fly and ciao.